Good morning. My name is Tanveer Ali Biswas. Today we'll have a brief discussion regarding sources of Indian history. Before that, I would like to say that most of you must have known that there are three parts in ancient Indian history. First is the prehistory part, then comes the proto-history part, and then comes the historic period. In prehistory part, there are no written records. In proto-history part, there are written records, but it has not been deciphered like the Indus Valley civilization. Historic part, there are written records. Now let us come to the religious literature. The first that comes to our mind are the Vedas. Vedas, the word Veda has come from the word Vidhi, which means knowledge. Vedas, there are most four important Vedas, and in fact there are only four Vedas. The first is the Rig Veda, then there is the Sama Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. Rig Veda, it is one of the oldest and is the oldest Vedas of it. There are 10 mandalas and 1028 hymns. It deals with the hymns of praise. For recitation, it is mainly used. Gayatri Mantra is found in the Rig Veda Mandala 3. First word of Rig Veda is Agni. The 10th part contains the 4 Varnas, and the 10th part is called the Purusharta. What are the 4 Varnas? First was the Brahmin, then Kshatriya, then Vaishya, then the Shudra. Brahmin comes from the mouth of a Brahmin, Kshatriya from the arms, Vaishya from the thighs, and Shudra from the feet. These all are described in the Rig Vedas. Now next come the Yajur Vedas. Yajur Vedas mainly deals with the knowledge of worship or sacrifices. It describes how the religious rituals are performed and social ceremonies and sacred ceremonies are done. Then comes the Soma Veda. It is called the Book of Chants. It mainly deals with Soma sacrifices. Now comes the Atharva Veda. It is a book of magical formula. That means what it contains? It contains popular beliefs, superstitions, folk, charms, spells, to move away evil and disease. After the Vedas, there are certain Upavedas which we need to know regarding the exam. The first comes of the Rig Veda, which has Dhanur Veda, which deals with archery. Then there is a Sama Veda, which is Upaveda is Gandharva, which deals with the art of music. Vedas Atharva, which is an Upaveda Ayurveda, the medical science. Then comes the Yajur Veda, which is an Upaveda Satyapad Veda, which deals with an architectures. Now come the Brahmanas. Brahmanas, you need to know certain names, like the Rig Veda Brahmanas are Aitri and Kaushitiki. Vedas and Yajur Veda, there is Satapatha and Taittari. And then Sama Veda, then there is Chandogya and Jamini, and Atharva Veda, there is Gopata. After this comes the Aryankas. Aryankas comes from the word means forest. Aryankas is most important because we will get to know of the two names of the Tirthankas. One is Rishava and another is Aristat Nemi. Then comes the Upanishads. Upanishads are also called Vedantas. There are 108 Upanishads, and the most important of them is the word Satyam Jayati, which has come from the Mundaka Upanishad. Next comes the Vedangas. Vedangas are generally called the limbs of Vedas. Though there are certain Vedangas which you need to know what is called and what for what. One is first is Shiksha, which is called the phonetics. Then there comes the Kalpa, which is used or which has knowledge of sacred rule or law. Then Vyakarna, which has knowledge of the grammar. Nirukta, it deals with explanation of etymological interpretation or of obscure words like some dictionary. Jyotishi or Jyotisha, you can call it, it deals with an astronomy. Then there is a Chanda, which is used with an instrument used in the construction of various Vedic hymns. After that, there is another one which is called the Smritis, which is basically used as a meaning, which is you can say as a remembrance. Manusmriti is one of the oldest and the most important Smritis. Then after that comes the Puranas. Puranas means which has come from the word old, or there are 18 Puranas, and oldest of them is the Matsya Purana. After this, I will come to know of the two great epics which are called the Mahakabya, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana, which is written by the Valmiki, which is one of the oldest and is the oldest epic. It has 24,000 slokas. Then comes the Mahabharata. It is written by Vedvais. It is the longest and it has 1 lakh slokas. After the Buddhist and the Vedas, now let us come to the other literature, Buddhist literature. What we have mostly heard is Tripitaka. Tripitaka has come from the word basket. Why basket? Because initially their writing was done on a palm leaf which was put in a basket, hence the word Tripitaka. There are three Tripitakas. One is the Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, and Sutta Pitaka. Vinaya Pitaka deals with the Buddhist saying or deals with the monastic lives, their disciplines. Abhidhamma Pitaka deals with the religious discourses of Buddha, his philosophy and doctrines. And Sutta Pitaka generally deals with the first Buddhist council. Apart from the three books, there are certain other books which gives us an information about ancient Indian history. One of them is Milinda Panaho. It is a dialogue between Milinda, who was an Indo-Greek queen, and a Buddhist saint Nagasena. It gives information regarding their period at that time, the philosophy, Buddhist philosophy and culture. Two books are there. One is called the Dipavamsa and Mahavamsa. Generally, it's a chronicle of Sri Lanka, but it gives us information regarding Buddhist culture. Most important of this, and last but not the least, are the Jatakas. What are Jatakas? It deals with the 540 plus 547 or 449 tales, which deals with the previous birth of Buddhist or rather Buddha. Then comes another book, Buddha Charit, which is written by Ashokosh in Sanskrit. Now let's come to the Jain literature. Jain literature is generally written in Ordho-Magadhi language. One of the most important book is Parishta Parvan, which is written by the Bhadrava. Apart from Buddhist and Jain literature, let us come to another literature, Sangam literature. What is Sangam exactly? It's a college or assembly of Tamil poets held under the royal patronage of Pandyan king in Madurai. There are the two most important books of the Sangam literature. First is the Tolkappiyam, which is written by Tolkappiyar. Second is Shilpa Kadikara, written by Ilano Adigal. These are the most important books of the South India at least give us some information regarding their cultures, their period. There is another book, Katha Charit Sagar. It is written by Somdev. Mudraksha, written by Vishakadatta. Prithvivaj Raso is written by Chand Bhattai. There is Parmal Raso, written by Jaganaka. Then there is Mricha Katikam. It is written by Shudrak. Kadambari, written by Banbhatta. Kavyadasya, written by Dandin. Charudatta, written by Vasa. Pratigya Yogandharyana, written by Vasa. Prayag Prasastha, written by Harisena. And Vasa Vaisa, written by Acharya Vasa. Now let us come to some foreign travelers' book. What books they have written, how they have enriched our cultures and Indian history regarding Indian history. First which comes to our mind regarding the foreign travels are the Greek travelers like Megasthenes, Ptolemy, Pliny. Megasthenes has written a most important book, Indica. It deals with the Mauryan Indian or the Mauryan history of our country. Then comes the Ptolemy. He has written geography, geographical treaties, geographical extensions regarding India. There's another book, The Peripulus of the Aethiopian Sea. It is written by an unknown writer. Then there is Natural History, which is written by Pliny. After that, let us come to the Chinese travelers who have come to India. First came Fahin, then came Huinsang, then came Itse. They are all deals with the Buddhist cultures mainly. Regarding some of them deal with the condition of India in the period of Harshavardhan, like the Fahin. Huinsang has come during the Gupta period. After that comes the Muhammadan writers. Most important and few books which I'll tell you now, just write it down. One of them is Al-Biruni, who has written a book Tariqul Hind. Ibn Battuta has written a book Rihala. Al-Masudi has written a book Muruj-ul-Jahan. These are the most important books at that time. We have discussed lots of books and what it is written upon and what is based on. But still there is no concrete information or there is no serial information of our ancient Indian history, and still that we are searching, we are doing archaeological excavation, and there is still we need to decipher more inscriptions. We are finding coins which are also helping us. Why is the need to decipher and to excavate more and more? The first and the most important things, all the books are not serially written. One kingdom has come, they have written the book according to their style. Another kingdom has come, they have written their books. But is there another kingdom between the two periods? We don't know that. We have information what the books give us. In next class, I'll discuss regarding the inscriptions and the coins, which also gives us give us information regarding the sources of ancient Indian history. So 3 parts: literature, inscriptions and coins. Total accumulating will have a more or less a basic information regarding the ancient history.